Welcome to Tomorrow's World Today, a show dedicated to the discovery of innovation and cutting-edge technology. We showcase the latest developments from the greatest companies and smartest people in the world. Tomorrow's ideas are out there, and through our journey of inspiration, we will uncover the technology of the future. This is Inventionland World Headquarters. Here now is George Davison.
Hey everybody, as you probably know from earlier episodes, we've been working on a park of the future, and it's gonna have a lot of square footage to heat and cool. You know, here at Inventionland, I know how hard it is to keep the temperature comfortable for all of our creationeers here. There must be a better way to handle climate control without breaking the bank and hurting the environment. I've heard about a company in Canada dealing with temperature extremes by the name of Cadillac Fairview. They're a commercial real estate company that's been working with numerous other companies to innovate and make their buildings more sustainable while keeping them comfortable. They use natural resources to heat and cool their buildings, but not by burning fuel. Have you ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Robert Tamblyn? He had an idea back in the 1940s to draw cold water from the bottom of Lake Ontario. Then, by circulating air around that cold pipe, he was able to naturally air condition a building. From that idea, he went on to invent deep water source cooling. And the idea of keeping spaces cold or warm by harnessing the power of nature was born. I'm curious about the full history and development of Tamblyn's ideas and what impact they could have on building a more environmentally friendly building in the future. I'm sending Tamara off to Toronto and Vancouver to explore some locations that use these technologies and to get the inside scoop.
I'm here at the Nwave heat exchange plant that treats cold water pumped in from Lake Ontario. It's the first step in our journey following the flow of the water from 270 feet below the surface of the lake to an above-ground pumping station to cooling systems of downtown buildings, including Cadillac Fairview properties. So let's get started and find out how Nwave deep lake cooling systems work. Luckily, I've got an expert, Landry Biles, who's going to help me understand it all. Hey.
Hey, Tara.
Good to see you.
You as well. Are you ready to see this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
So Cadillac Fairview is one of the top developers in Canada. We own some of the premier properties throughout the country, such as the Toronto Dominion Centre, the Toronto Eaton Centre, and the Pacific Centre. We lease over 38 million square feet of space throughout 67 properties across the country. So many of our properties, especially all of our AAA office properties in downtown Toronto, are cooled by deep lake water cooling, which is using the water from Lake Ontario to help do cooling within the buildings. The water is extracted from the bottom of the lake at roughly 4 degrees Celsius. It will then run through the City of Toronto's water treatment facilities. And during that travel, the water will pass through heat exchangers in which it will take the cold water from the lake to help cool down a water loop that circulates the downtown core of Toronto. Hi, Joyce.
Hey, Landry. How are you? Good. Very good.
I'd like to introduce you to Tamara.
Hi, Tamara. How are you?
Joyce is the VP of Operations for Nwave Corporation, and she's going to show you around the plant today.
All right, thanks so much. See you later.
Follow me.
Okay, so Landry told me you know everything about this place.
Sure, absolutely. Nwave is a district energy company, so we're very into innovative technologies. So back in 2002, we have the vision to cool the downtown Toronto with deep lake water cooling. So over the last 15 years of operations in partnership with the city, we're able to accomplish that.
And the big significance of that is that traditionally, from my research, what I think I understand, is that air conditioning uses a ton of electricity when done by conventional means. So the deep lake water cooling saves on electricity in a really big way, right?
Absolutely. Conventionally, the buildings use the electricity to power up their chillers. So it takes a lot of power, especially in the most hottest and humid days. But with deep lake water cooling, we're able to shed the low and using a lot less power to generate the same amount of cooling. So we start with the 3 intakes line. They're 5 kilometers out, 83 meters below the surface of water. That's where we can take the water at 4 degrees Celsius all year round.
So that's the water from Lake Ontario that's coming in here to these are the heat exchangers, right?
Exactly, but before that, it goes into the city's island filtration plant, turns into potable water, drinking water, and sent across to the Johnston pumping station. That's where the water will get sent into the heat exchangers here.
Okay.
So the heat exchangers have 2 separate streams. One side is the city water, and the other side is the chill water. The city water is at 4 degrees Celsius, being warm up to the 13 degrees Celsius. The water coming back from the chill water circuit, like the Cadillac Fairview buildings or the hospitals or government buildings, will come into the heat exchangers here, get cooled down to the 5 degrees Celsius. And after that, it will get sent out to the distribution system.
So just so I'm clear, so that's on a closed loop then. So the water that's going to the buildings is constantly circulating in that closed loop. It goes out, it's chilled down, it helps to cool down the buildings. As it comes back, as it's heated up, because it's taken the heat from those buildings, gets cooled back down here again.
Absolutely.
I think I got it. All right. I've made it to beautiful, bustling downtown Toronto, where the winters are chilly, but the summers can be blistering hot. I'm here to find out how the Cadillac Fairview TD Center uses the depths of Lake Ontario to help its buildings and the people inside them keep their cool.
So Tamara, now that you've seen the heat exchangers at Nwave's facility, beside you are the heat exchangers within the Toronto Dominion Center's buildings.
These are a little bit smaller than the others.
That's right, a little bit smaller. We're using a little bit less water running through these heat exchangers than what you just saw.
Gotcha. And what about the different color pipes that I'm looking at?
So the pipe colors indicate the flow of water and where the water is sourced from. So in this case, the green water is actually coming from Nwave and returning to Nwave.
Yeah.
And then the blue piping is the internal building loop, which is extracting heat from the building.
Gotcha. So these are the closed loops that we were talking about, yeah?
That's correct, yeah. So from the lake, there's water coming through the Nwave facility, and then there's a loop that circulates the downtown core, and then there's another loop in the building. So right now we're looking at 2 loops coming together in the building to extract the heat.
Very cool. Now, obviously, this building was not created with this system in mind, so tell me a little bit about the retrofit.
That's correct, actually. We're standing in what is the parking garage, and
Do I need to worry about a car?
You should be okay. We're well protected here, so that should be okay. So we've actually taken 6 parking spots in order to be able to accommodate the equipment. We installed piping to take water from the Nwave system into the building through the heat exchangers we just saw.
What was the reaction when you first said you wanted to put this system in? I mean, everyone is very used to chillers, it's very established, and here you were taking a chance on this new technology.
Yeah, so in the early 2000s, when Cadillac Fairview made the decision to move towards the Nwave solution, obviously a big risk, unproven at the time. Installing chillers was the traditional method of cooling buildings, and this was a new innovative solution that was being offered at the time. Cadillac Fairview, wanting to be a sustainability leader, evaluated the pros and cons of an installation like this and made the decision to migrate to this type of technology. At the end of the day, it's significantly reduced our energy use, leading towards a low carbon solution. And at the time, the facility was actually in need of replacing some of our chillers and electrical infrastructure, and this solution provided an alternative to that.
Very cool. So what's next?
Well, do you like shopping?
Yeah.
Well, let's go look at one of the busiest shopping centers in North America.
You gonna take me shopping?
Let's go shopping.
George, I like this trip.
So Tamara, I said I was going to take you shopping.
Yeah, you did.
So we're about to walk into the Toronto Eaton Centre, and we're actually on a symbolic bridge at the moment, which reflects Old Toronto entering into New Toronto.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow, this is a big space.
It certainly is. I think I mentioned to you earlier, this is the busiest shopping center in North America. We get over 50 million people a year shopping.
That is a lot of people to cool down every summer.
Well, if you think that's cool, why don't I send you to visit our friend Jesse out in Vancouver at another retail property where they've got something called GeoExchange, which does both heating and cooling.
So you're saying shopping malls and learning about new technology? Now you're singing my song. I've traveled across the continent all the way to beautiful Vancouver to learn about geoexchanges. These systems collect the heat normally expelled by buildings while cooling them down over the summertime so that they can then harvest that heat to warm them up in the wintertime. And while I'm here, I'm also going to learn about green corporate initiatives like urban beekeeping and how our leftovers from the food court can be used for composting. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tamara. Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you. They told me there'd be rain in Vancouver, and they did not disappoint.
Well, pretty much guaranteed in the winter.
Speaking of seasons, when I was in Toronto, I saw a system that cools things down in the summer, but here I'm going to get to see a system that heats things up in wintertime, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We take the heat, the excess heat from the summer, and we store it in the ground and use it in the winter to heat our building.
And it's a retrofit, correct?
It is. It was done after the fact in the parkade. It's a really exciting project.
Okay, parkade, parking garage, am I translating correctly?
The Canadian one. You got it.
So that's not the only green initiative you have, though, correct?
That's correct. We have a number of different initiatives. We have beehives on one of our buildings.
What?
Yeah, it's promote pollination in the downtown core. We also have a composter. We take food waste and other waste from our buildings and create compost from it.
So those are more sort of what I guess you'd call them system-wide things. You also have a program called Green at Work.
We do. It was a program that we initiated over 10 years ago here in Vancouver, and it reduces all our consumption. We look at energy usage, water consumption, waste reduction, and it's a program that we've rolled out right across the country.
And I've got to imagine as new things have been discovered and how to reduce that carbon footprint, you've implemented new innovations all along the way?
We have, and we really look to our employees to come up with these new and innovative ideas that we can implement.
I love all the different things you're doing here for sustainability. I'm so excited to see the system.
Well, I'm glad you're excited, Tamara, because you need to be there at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning in the parkade.
What?
Yeah, to meet Jesse. We need to get you in there before all the cars are there so you can really see the system.
Okay, I'm gonna trust you on this one.
Yeah, it'll be safe. It'll be good.
Okay.
All right.
You must be Jesse, I hope.
You must be Tamara.
Yes, I do not normally wander around empty parking garages at 6 in the morning by myself, but Tom said you could help explain the geothermal energy exchange.
Glad I bumped into you. I can certainly do that. So what we're doing here at its most basic level is we're taking waste heat from our cooling needs in the summer. We pipe it down here underground in this parking garage. We store it there for when we need it to heat our buildings in the winter.
Cool. Do you think I could see what's down in there?
Absolutely. Jack, would you mind opening up one of these boreholes for us, please? Sure.
That's it?
What were you expecting?
Well, it's just two little pipes down here. I mean, this system helps to heat an entire building.
Tamara, use your imagination. That borehole is 350 feet deep. Can you imagine the drilling rig when it was set up here, braced against that slab, drilling that deep, all of the earth that was coming out of there, the piles of slag, the trucks that had to haul it out? 700 feet of plastic pipe and all that water moving through there.
Okay, now I see it. Now I see it. But tell me a little bit more about the retrofitting process. What was it like for tenants while it was happening?
I don't think our tenants even noticed it, really.
Really?
I mean, we hoarded off parts of the parkade here, the parking garage, and essentially the drilling all happened behind closed doors. It got a little noisy at times down here, but the people working upstairs never even noticed it.
And why did you decide to do this system in this building? What makes it particularly the right spot for it?
Well, we have a department store and an office building upstairs, and they have different heating and cooling needs at different times of year. The department store needs cooling most of the year, and the office tower needs heating in the winter. And so we're able to take that waste heat from cooling the department store, and we're able to share that over to the office tower for heating when they need it.
And how has that changed the carbon footprint of the site?
Well, it's reduced our fossil fuel needs for this entire building by 80%. That's the equivalent of taking about 190 cars off the road.
That's really cool. I mean, literally. Does it affect your utility bills?
We have definitely seen some utility savings from this.
Nice. So good for the environment and good for business.
Absolutely.
Well, I would love to see the rest of the system.
Why don't we go for a walk? Let's follow the pipes.
Let's do it.
So this is where the pipes land.
Ah,
These 4 heat recovery chillers here are serving our office tower on top of us. And those 2 further in the back are serving the department store. We also have our heat exchanger here where all that heat exchange takes place. And then these pumps are driving that water down through the parking garage, through the earth, picking up that heat and bringing it back here.
gotcha. All right, so now that I've seen the whole system, I would love for you to explain in layman's terms a little bit more about the heat exchange. So the water, what we were looking at in the parking lot below, the water goes down into those pipes.
That's right.
And then that heat energy is absorbed into the ground, right?
That's right. So it's all about these relative temperatures here.
Okay.
The water that we're sending down, when we're storing the heat, that water is relatively warmer than the field. When we're extracting heat, the water that we're sending down is relatively cooler. And then we pick that heat up, we pull it back here into this room, we top it up, and we send it up to the buildings.
So that's what's happening right now in the middle of winter. You're sending down cooler water to absorb the heat. The warmer water comes back up here.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It is. But it's not the only thing we have up our sleeve as far as sustainable technologies.
Really?
Can I show you something else?
You can always show me something new.
Let's go for a walk.
Okay.
And this is our composter.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
I want you to meet Tamara. She's here to learn about composting.
Hey, great.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about this unit, how it works with the buildings, and your whole process.
Yeah, well, I'm just about to unload it.
Okay.
So this is the composted material. So this has been composted for 24 hours. What we're able to do with this composting equipment is do that 80% reduction. So that means we've got a lot less trucks coming here every day to pick up material
Okay.
and transport it out to the compost facilities.
Got it. Well, I love seeing this, and I'm also curious too about, you have a honeybee program here?
We do. Yes, so on top of the building, on the roof, we actually have 50,000 bees making honey, and we harvest that honey, and we actually share that honey with our tenants, if you can believe it.
This is a good place to work.
It's fantastic.
Well, speaking of work, I cannot wait to tell my boss, George, all about the cool initiatives that you have here. But before I go, could I actually put some stuff in and get it going?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there it goes!
There it goes.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to show me how this works. And Jesse, thank you so much for the full tour.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for coming tomorrow.
Of course.
That was very helpful. You know, I think it's fitting to try to keep the future as sustainable and environmentally friendly as possible. Maybe a large body of water can help us as we develop the park of the future. We want to make sure that we power the park responsibly. In our search for locations, we've already shortlisted several. Here's a bit of a teaser for you. One of them's in a warm climate. Also, on a previous episode, we asked you, our audience, to help us in creating a name for the park of the future. It became obvious that many of you have been inspired by Mr. Disney's Disney World and suggested that we name our park Davison World. So thank you, everyone. Personally, I can't wait to walk around that park one day. I'll leave you with this parting thought, everybody. If you don't believe in ideas, you'll never find innovation. Until next time, have a great day, everyone.